Live on the CryptoJournals channel. I told you last video, I have the new upcoming Metaverse. That's going to be huge. There's still time to get in it. So let's drop a like, subscribe, and I'm going to get right into the video.
Y'all know his name?
Alright, y'all, let's get into it. So, told you there's a new Metaverse out there. I want to tell you first, last time I mentioned Decentraland. Decentraland and the Sandbox are competing with each other on the Ethereum blockchain. So what happened with Decentraland, I got in super early. I bought the currency, the mana, but I never bought land with Decentraland, which I, was very upset about. So there was a time where Decentraland was, there was just Decentraland. Then a little while after, I heard about the Sandbox. So I said, I seen it getting I seen it getting noticed, so I said, shit, now I gotta hedge it. So I have Decentraland, but, the Sandbox is making noise, so let me try to get a little piece of that too. So what happened was, at the time where I was gonna get into the Sandbox, Zuckerberg came out and said, changed his name from Facebook to Meta. So once that happened, prices skyrocketed. So I said, let me see. So the token was too expensive at the time. The token jumped, so I was late on the token. So I said, all right, let me see if there's any land I could buy. So I looked at the land, and it was at like 4,000 floor price. So I said, that's pretty pricey. I thought it was going to be a little less. So I was debating. I was like, should I buy this? I even called my cousin up. I said, yo, cuz, you want to split it with me? Let's, give us something that we could bond with for, until we figure out what we're doing with it. It's just something that we have as, together. And he said, yeah. He said, it's up to you. I trust you. So I said, listen, I don't like buying things at the hype, when there's so much hype into it. Like crypto and stocks, when it's so much hype, it's, usually that's not a good time to buy it. So I said, you know what, let's wait a little bit. Let's see if it goes down a little bit. Let's not buy the hype. So I waited, say a week, and the floor price went from 4,000 to 6,000. A few more days, 6,000 to 9,000. Eventually 9,000 to 15,000. So, I called him up. I said, Mike, we missed the boat. Like, it got so hot that, it just kept going up. Everybody wanted a piece. Everybody wanted a piece of the pie. All these big companies are coming in, pouring in, because they want to sell their products. You got Nike, Adidas, clothing lines, Tommy Hilfiger. The list goes on and on. They want to get into and take a chance on what to be the top metaverses now, like what's the hottest. They want to get in, and they want to sell their digital products. So, it's everybody's just pouring in. So the Sandbox, I missed out. I was upset. I should have just bought it at the time where it was. Even when I looked at it, I would have made a great profit from then to now. Like I should have just popped it, but I didn't. So I took a couple weeks just thinking, and I decided, all right, I gotta get in something with this land. I gotta, the Metaverse, I'm researching about it. I gotta get in somewhere. So I said to myself, just like a light bulb clicked, and I said, all right, so Sandbox and Decentraland are on the Ethereum blockchain. I said to myself, because I'm big with Cardano, I said, that has to be some type of metaverse that's being created on the Cardano blockchain. So I did my research, and I looked around, I looked on Twitter first. I seen, a couple articles, and I was searching around, and I seen Pavia. Now, I didn't know anything about it at the time. So I said to myself, what is it? Is it promising? So I looked at the website, and here's the website. Let me show you. So it says Pavia, and 1501 Pavia, Italy. It looks, you just read about it. You start doing some research. You look at the map. I mean, the map compared to other maps, the map looks pretty dope. You got a lot of lands, the ocean surrounded by a lot of water, which is probably going to look really nice with the VR. And so I thought about it. I said, all right, so what, like, what's going on with this? So then I said, let me go to Discord and let me find out more about the project, because I was looking at some of the prices, and the prices were, fairly in my range, what I thought they would be, but I didn't know which was, good spots. I didn't know anything, because when it comes to virtual land, it's very similar to the land outside. Your location means a lot. So I said, all right, anything near the P. So you see this big P, it's like the portal. And that's where you're going to be spawning, the spawn point. So when you're in the middle, and like I knew before I even talked to somebody that's the hot spots. But everything, of course, that was the most expensive spots. So I went into Discord, and I went to the Pavia Discord, and I started messaging the moderators. Now, Discord is scam city. There's people that are messaging you all day long just trying to scam you. Just X out of everything. Block people, do whatever you want. Don't trust anybody. So even the moderators, you don't know them from a hole in the wall. So, you got to just take a chance and get to know them. But in this situation, they were super nice. Like, I don't want to say his name wrong. I think it's Rados. He's one of the moderators in the Discord chat, and I'm talking about super nice. Like, he helped me. I said I was new to the project. I'm trying to look to invest, and he pretty much gave me knowledge that I wouldn't have had if I just went in blindly. Like some people probably do. They probably just purchase parcels, a land, and without knowing anything, which I advise you not to do that. So I asked him, I said, we're looking at this map, like what am I looking at? How do I know what is good to buy? So he pointed out a few spots. Obviously the P, this is the main land, which is, the most, really very rare. It's good to get a plot next to here, because that's where you spawn. Then, but there's other spawn points. So then, let me show you. This is lagging a little bit. We go to the stadium, the S spawn point. Anything over there is good. We have another spawn point here. I think this is called Whale Island. I think he was telling me. It's gonna be expensive, and anything close to around near the water is considered rare. So now, which is also good about Pavia. Pavia. I see a lot of people call it different things. I call it Pavia. So what I seen was that there's been 2 land sales, and there's still a 3rd land sale coming. So if you think, all right, these a little expensive for me, there's still a land sale where you can mint your own land, which is not guaranteed. There's gonna be a lot of people racing to do, to buy it. There's not many out there left. So, if you want to buy now, I would advise you to buy in a secondary market. So now, as we were going along, which I kind of lucked out, because I kind of got in at a good time, because when you go into new projects like this, most of them give you airdrops. Now, what an airdrop is I'll give you an example with Pavia, is that what they did was, if you owned land, say you owned, for each land they were giving you X amount of Pavia tokens. The Pavia tokens are going to be used for the in-game currency. Just like I mentioned before with Decentraland, their currency is mana. This is the Pavia token. So what they did was, for X amount of lands that you own, so he told me, he said in the beginning, he's like, try to get like, because I told him my budget, so he said, try to get like 3 or more, because the airdrop's happening, and we didn't know how many tokens they were going to give you. Obviously, if I knew at the time, I would have bought more, but they don't tell you how many tokens they're giving you. So, but they knew that they were getting airdrop this. So he told me to buy 3, and I buy some at the floor price, and I said, all right, but he was showing me other spots that were rare. So I said, all right, just now it's up to me. It's my purchase. I have to make a decision. So I went with 1 floor price, and I went with 1 that I thought was going to be a good spot for the future. Which I'm not going to show you exactly where, but give you an idea that I'm going to have a nice view of the ocean. one day in this metaverse. So, so instead of going with 3, I went with 2. So those 2 generated me, when the airdrop came, generated me 16,666 Pavia tokens. So pretty much free. So now you look at Sandbox. The Sandbox, when this time last year, the token was around 0.04. Now, the high that it went, I know now it's down a little bit, but the high that it reached like $6 to $7 in such a short time period, which is, really progress. Now, this Pavia token, I'm talking about, this thing just came out. You only could buy it on certain, I think, like a few platforms. It's not even on most of the platforms yet. So I wanted to show you also, this is something people are building on it. So I want to give you an insight on it. So you could, at one point, the game's not out yet, but they're going to create something where you could build on, and you could build on your parcels. So, if you're a 3D designer and you know how to use, software programs like Blender and, stuff like that, this is the time where you're gonna make some big money if you know how to 3D design. Like, I even wanted to try to get involved in it. Like this, you're really gonna make some money. So I just wanted to show you what the token was at now. Let me see the chat. I want to show. So the Pavia token is 0.18, and this is by ADA. So I'm just giving you a heads up that there's so much room to grow. You look at the Sandbox. The Sandbox is just a few months ago was at like $7. So this really, we have a lot to. And the Discord is always, there's people always talking. It's getting put on the map big time right now, this project. So what I also wanted to show you was, now again, there's a lot of scammers. So if you're gonna buy off a secondary market, you have to be careful. So this is, I'm gonna put the links in my description at the end. But this is if you want to go on and you want to, say you find the land, you could go by the coordinates. You could, pick which land you want. Go by the coordinates, and then you could go on the secondary one. In this secondary site, this shows which lands, if they're even listed, if people are actually even selling them. So I put in 1 to 1,000. So the little green dots, you go hover over them, and you find your coordinates, and you see the price. This kid's selling it for $9.99. So he's listing his. He wants to sell his. So this is a good tool to use to see what's your price range and which is actually for sale, because most of them aren't even for sale. See, look at this. Well, obviously there's no green dots here because this is the more expensive. This is the P, and it's way more than 1,000 right now. So this is a good tool to see what's actually on the market. Now another tool that this is CNFT.io is basically, if you know NFTs and you know about stuff on Ethereum, it's OpenSea. OpenSea is the big secondary market. For Cardano, it's CNFT. There's another one too, but this is the one that I use. So now if you check the activity for the day, it's just jumped down. Pavia is, it has volume. Like, this is jumping. Like, I'm even impressed from the last couple days how much volume is in this project. The floor price is jumping to 900, which is crazy. This project's really getting noticed. I know a lot of big YouTubers just started talking about it. A lot of articles out about it that are saying that this is going to be the Decentraland to Ethereum. Pavia is gonna be, Cardano's main metaverse, which it's promising. Like, the team behind this have a really good opportunity right now to, make something special. So now it's up to them. Another useful tool that I'm going to show you is the fire map. I don't know what you want to call it, but if you look at the Pavia map, it's the same thing, but just all fired up. So what's going on here is that, the purple are the less rare, and the lighter fire is the more rare one. So you see near the P, it's all, more expensive, more rare. By the portals, you see that it's rare. By the beach, you look around the water. A lot of good properties you can buy. So this is also a good tool. I'll put it in the description. Just gives you an idea of what's gonna be more more rare than other parcels. So that's also a good tool. Now, when you're going to buy a parcel, though, I'm not going to give you a full step-by-step tutorial. There's other YouTube channels that you could do that with. I'm just giving you a general knowledge of, what this project is about. Now, also, there's a lot of scammers on secondary markets. So if you want to buy on the secondary market, make sure you know what you're doing. The policy ID. Let me show you the policy ID. I'm going to put this in my description as well. Make sure if you're buying off a secondary market and you have your parcel up that you think, oh, this is the one I want to do, make sure it is identical to the original Pavia policy number. This number is the same for all of them that are real. Now, trust me, be careful. Read it. Go through the numbers and letters because people are putting scams out there. So make sure you do that. I'll put that in the description. So now, so just for a little overview, I mean, this project is really still at its infant stage. All these metaverses are still at the infant stage, but this one is super, super earlier, and it's just gaining, exposure. So, I mean, I advise you to, look at my, it just jumped a little bit. Like, I'm not going to lie, it did just jump. You look at the volume, the floor prices are higher than they were, but if I told you my sandbox story, and the sandbox story, give reference to that because, I missed out. I looked at a price where I was like, oh shit, it did just jump, but, let me wait a little bit, but, it didn't work for me waiting with the metaverse. Not saying this is the same situation, but I'm just giving you, an idea of my experience with this. Just want to give you a few ending facts about Pavia before we end this. Pavia won the Best Virtual World category for NFT Awards, hosted by Engine, coming up this February. Pavia is already VR compatible. It is more decentralized than Decentraland. The second land sale, which there's still a third one coming, but the second one that just passed was the biggest mint sale on CNFT ever, and because of these last few days, how crazy Pavia's volume's been, Pavia is now officially the biggest NFT, the biggest project on CNFT, which is big because it's still so early and there's so much room to grow. So, I mean, thanks for listening. There's going to be more updates. Just don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep the channel going. And I will see you next time.